Good morning. Early today. Okay, here's a prayer by Bahá'u'lláh to start with. Create in me a pure heart, O my God, and renew a tranquil conscience within me, O my hope. Through the Spirit of power, confirm thou me in thy cause, O my best beloved. And by the light of thy glory, reveal unto me thy path, O thou the goal of my desire. Through the power of thy transcendent might, lift me up to the heaven of thy holiness. O source of my being, and by the breezes of thine eternity, gladden me, O thou who art my God. Let thine everlasting melodies breathe tranquility on me, O my companion. And let the riches of thine ancient countenance deliver me from all except thee, O my Master. And let the tidings of the revelation of thine incorruptible essence bring me joy. O thou who art the most manifest of the manifest, and the most hidden of the hidden. Here's a prayer by the Bab. O Lord, unto thee I repair for refuge, and toward all thy signs I set my heart. O Lord, whether traveling or at home, and in my occupation or in my work, I place my whole trust in thee. Grant me then thy sufficing help, so as to make me independent of all things. O thou who art unsurpassed in thy mercy. Bestow upon me my portion, O Lord, as thou pleasest, and cause me to be satisfied with whatsoever thou hast ordained for me. Thine is the absolute authority to command. Say, God sufficeth all things, above all things, and nothing in the heavens or in the earth but God sufficeth. Verily, he is in himself the knower, the sustainer, the omnipotent. The Bab. The Bab was the forerunner of Bahá'u'lláh. He was the announcer of his coming. And the declaration of the Bab will be celebrated from the evening of May 24th, 23rd to the evening or sunset of May 24th. So it's coming right up next week. If you happen to live in the Pioneer Valley in western Massachusetts, I will be holding a commemoration of that event with storytelling and music. So feel free to contact me if you're interested in coming. Here's another prayer by the Bab. I am aware, O Lord, that my trespasses have covered my face with shame in thy presence, and have burdened my back before thee, have intervened between me and thy beauteous countenance, have compassed me from every direction, and have hindered me on all sides from gaining access unto the revelations of thy celestial power. O Lord, if thou forgivest me not, who is there then to grant pardon? And if thou hast no mercy upon me, who is capable of showing compassion? Glory be unto thee. Thou didst create me when I was non-existence, and thou didst nourish me while I was devoid of any understanding. Praise be unto thee. Every evidence of bounty proceedeth from thee, and every token of grace emanateth from the treasuries of thy decree. The Bab. And here's another prayer by the Bab. Glory be unto thee, O God. How can I make mention of thee while thou art sanctified from the praise of all mankind? Magnified be thy name, O God. Thou art the King, the eternal truth. Thou knowest what is in the heavens and on the earth, and unto thee must all return. Thou hast sent down thy divinely ordained revelation according to a clear measure. Praised art thou, O Lord. At thy behest thou dost render victorious whomsoever thou willest. Through the hosts of heaven and earth, and whatsoever existeth between them. Thou art the sovereign, the eternal truth, the Lord of invincible might. Glorified art thou, O Lord. Thou forgivest at all times the sins of such among thy servants as implore thy pardon. Wash away my sins, and the sins of those who seek thy forgiveness at dawn, who pray to thee in the daytime and in the night season, who yearn after naught save God, who offer up whatsoever God hath graciously bestowed upon them, who celebrate thy praise at morn and eventide, and who are not remiss in their duties. The Bab. And here are some writings from Abdu'l-Baha. The mind and spirit of man advance when he is tried by suffering. The more the ground is plowed, the better the seed will grow. The better the harvest will be. Just as the plow furrows the earth deeply, purifying it of weeds and thistles, so suffering and tribulation free man from the petty affairs of this worldly life, until he arrives at a state of complete detachment. His attitude in this world will be that of divine happiness. Man is, so to speak, unripe. The heat of the fire of suffering will mature him. Look back to the times past, and you will find that the greatest men have suffered most. Through suffering, he will attain to an eternal happiness, which nothing can take from him. The apostles of Christ suffered. They attained eternal happiness. To attain eternal happiness, one must suffer. He who has reached the state of self-sacrifice has true joy. Temporal joy will vanish. Know thou that our ordeals are of two kinds. One kind is for trial to test the soul, and the other is punishment for actions. Quote, as a man soweth, so shall he also reap, unquote. That which is for testing is educational and developmental. And that which is the punishment of deeds is severe retribution. The father and the teacher sometimes humor the children and then again discipline them. This discipline is for educational purposes, and it indeed to give them true happiness. It is absolute kindness and true providence. Although in outward appearance it is wrath, yet in reality it is kindness. Although outwardly it is an ordeal, yet inwardly it is purifying water. Verily, in both cases, we must supplicate and implore and commune to the divine threshold in order to be patient in ordeals. Thou hast written concerning the tests that have come upon thee. To the sincere ones, tests are as a gift from God the Exalted. For a heroic person hasteneth with the utmost joy and gladness to the tests of a violent battlefield. But the coward is afraid and trembles. I'm not sure if I have the next part of that. No. Okay. And I'm going to sing a passage from the selections of the writings of Abdu'l-Baha. O thou who art turning thy face towards God, close thine eyes to all things else, and open them to the realm of the all-glorious. Ask whatever thou wishest of him alone. Seek whatever thou seekest from him alone. With a look he granteth 100,000 hopes. With a glance he healeth 100,000 incurable ills. With a nod he layeth balm on every wound. With a glimpse he freeth the hearts from the shackles of grief. He doeth as he doeth, and what recourse have we? What recourse have we? He cares his will. He ordaineth what he pleaseth. Then better for thee to bow down thy head in submission. In submission. Submission. And put thy trust. Put thy trust in the all-merciful Lord. And that's Abdu'l-Baha, from selections from the writings of Abdu'l-Baha, page 51. And now I'm going to read from the Kitáb-Í-Iqán, the Book of Certitude by Bahá'u'lláh, and we're on page 38. And so we've just completed a discussion of some of the meanings in the holy books of the prophecies regarding the sun, the moon, and the stars, and how they have many different meanings. Some of the meanings are the teachings and the laws. Some of the meanings are the leaders of religion or the leaders of politics, the nations. And we're going to continue. It is unquestionable that in every succeeding revelation, the sun and moon of the teachings, laws, commandments, and prohibitions which have been established in the preceding dispensation, and which have overshadowed the people of that age, become darkened. That is, are exhausted and cease to exert their influence. Consider now, had the people of the gospel recognized the meaning of the symbolic terms sun and moon, had they sought, unlike the froward and perverse, enlightenment from him who is the revealer of divine knowledge, they would have surely comprehended the purpose of these terms, and would not have become afflicted and oppressed by the darkness of their selfish desires. That's interesting. That our affliction and oppression comes from the darkness of our selfish desires. Now, I don't think he's not referring to the injustices that impact us from outside ourselves, but he's talking about the way we oppress ourselves by the darkness of our selfish desires. Yea, but since they have failed to acquire true knowledge from its very source, which would be the messenger of God, whether it be Jesus or Moses or Muhammad or Baha'u'lláh or white buffalo calf woman, yea, but since they have failed to acquire true knowledge from its very source, they have perished in the perilous veil of waywardness and misbelief. They still have not awakened to perceive that all the signs foretold have been manifest, and that the promised sun hath risen above the horizon of divine revelation, and that the sun and moon of the teachings, the laws, and learning of a former dispensation have darkened and set. And now with fixed gaze and steady wings, enter thou the way of certitude and truth. Say, it is God. Then leave them to entertain themselves with their cavillings. And that's a quote from the Quran. And as I understand it, the word cavil or cavillings refers to idle arguments and disputes, just idly denying truth. Thus wilt thou be accounted of those companions of whom he saith, they that say, our Lord is God, and continue steadfast in his way. Upon them verily shall the angels descend. That's another quote from the Quran. Then shalt thou witness all these mysteries with thine own eyes. I'm going to end there. And next time we'll continue from where we left off. So I wish you a blessed, beautiful, glorious, inspiring day.